Now, as we start talking about fat, let's firstly explore why we store fat, because it is something that we don't take to very warmly. Unfortunately, we curse what we pinch and jiggle, when in reality, we should be quite grateful for it. First and foremost is the most obvious benefit of having fat, which is it allows us to survive a time of nutrient deficiency or caloric deficiency. Now, in this day and age, that seems like it's something very silly. The idea of having insufficient access to food is almost laughable for most of us. Now, however, it doesn't take a lot to imagine a scenario where things could change quite quickly due to employment circumstances or economic or societal problems. Should such disasters ever happen, we would be very grateful for our fat. It allows us to fast, is one way of describing it. So it allows us to survive any period of scarcity whatsoever. So that's important. Now, another thing about why we store fat is that's worth highlighting is the uniqueness of humans. Now, humans are unique on this planet in a number of ways, myriad things differentiate us from every other animal on the planet. Among them is our metabolic capacity, that humans in particular, we are the only land-based mammals that are obese. And we're certainly the only ones that are born obese. Now, there are some other animals that can get fat, but even animals that you typically think of as fat aren't really. Like a cow is very, very lean. You think of other primates, even a lean human coming in at, let's say, 8% body fat would be considered obese if we compared that human to, say, apes or orangutans. Now, those animals may have really distended bellies, but it's just because they're fermenting so much of the plants they're eating that it's constantly distended. But in reality, the actual amount of body fat they have is exquisitely low. So we are, again, very unique in that we are born obese. We are the only mammals land-based, because water-based, like dolphins or whales, of course, are a bit of an exception. They're fatter, but we're not them. We don't live on the ocean. We live on the land, and we're the only ones born obese. Now, why? That's a matter of some speculation, some theory when it comes to some of the understandings of how we became who we are. How did we become the thinking, big-brained humans that we are today? There is a theory in the realm of evolution, as it's all theoretical, that is called the expensive tissue hypothesis. And the expensive tissue hypothesis posits that and there's another theory I'll mention in a moment that's a little more closely related, but the expensive tissue hypothesis basically posits that it's our ability to both eat and store more fat that allowed our brains to get bigger and our intestines to get shorter. And those are some of the substantial differences between humans and other primates like apes, etc. Now, another theory of evolution is one called the shore-based theory of evolution, and that is a little more nuanced, but this most succinct version of it is perhaps that we are born with large brains, and the shore-based theory being that we have access to omega-3 fats in particular that help fuel brain growth. But then as a part of that theory is this idea that by being born obese, a baby has the ability to a human baby has the ability to burn a lot of fat. And when we burn a lot of fat, we make ketones very, very readily. Now, there are some funny ideas about ketones burning a baby's brain or some such nonsense. The reality of human metabolism is that when a human baby doesn't eat for just a couple hours, they will get into they're burning so much fat because they have so much fat because they're born obese, that they will get into a deeper state of ketosis than an adult human will after even about 2 days rather straight of fasting. So babies get into deep ketosis substantially and very, very quickly. And it's thought to be an adaptive mechanism to help fuel the brain because the brain thrives so well on ketones.